My sister mocked me for marrying a lowly farmer, while her husband was a finance genius. When their investments collapsed, my parents demanded I sell my land to bail them out. Their faces turned ghostly white when my husband explained who the actual landowner was. Pratt too. Next to Elijah's designer everything, he looked like he'd wandered in from a different world. Right. Elijah nodded with exaggerated interest. The farming thing. How's that going? Still playing in the dirt? We're doing well, I said, forcing my voice to stay level. The farm's been profitable for 2 years running. Tamara laughed, the sound like wind chimes in a hurricane. Profitable? Oh honey, that's adorable. Elijah just closed a deal worth more than your little farm probably makes in a decade. Actually, my father interjected, walking over with his bourbon. I've been meaning to ask about that. This farming venture of yours. When are you planning to do something more substantial with your lives? Donald. My mother warned, but her tone suggested she wanted to hear the answer too. We're happy, Peyton said simply. The work is good. Honest work. Honest work. Elijah repeated, swirling his martini. That's one way to put it, though I have to say, watching you two at family events is like watching a nature documentary. Here we see the simple farm folk in their natural habitat. The group around us chuckled. I saw Erin wince from across the patio, but she didn't say anything. At least we sleep well at night, I said, the words slipping out before I could stop them. The laughter died. Elijah's smile tightened. What's that supposed to mean? Tamara asked, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. Nothing, I said quickly. Just that physical work makes you tired. But the damage was done. I'd crossed some invisible line, and everyone could feel it. Well, my mother said with forced brightness. Who wants to see the new pool house? Who? The group dispersed, following Tamara toward the latest addition to her property empire. I started to follow, but Peyton caught my arm. I'm going to check on the truck, he said. Make sure we didn't leave the windows down. I knew he just needed air. These gatherings were harder on him than he let on. Watching his wife get picked apart by her own family while he stood there powerless to stop it. I'll come with you, I said, but he shook his head. Stay. Enjoy your family. The word, joy, carried weight we both understood. I found myself alone by the pool, watching the sun reflect off water that probably cost more to maintain than we spent on groceries. The sound of laughter drifted from the pool house tour, and I wondered what it would feel like to belong in that group, instead of always standing on the outside looking in. They're being awful today, Erin said, appearing beside me with 2 glasses of wine. Today? I took the glass gratefully. This is just Tuesday for them. It's not always like this, is it? I turned to look at her. When was the last time anyone in this family asked about my life without it being a setup for a joke? Erin was quiet for a moment. Things have been tense lately, with Elijah's work. I mean, Tamara's been stressed. Stressed about what? I probably shouldn't say anything. Erin glanced around then leaned closer. Some of his investments haven't been going well. Big ones. Tamara's been making comments about having to adjust their lifestyle. Then before I could respond, Tamara's voice cut across the patio like a blade. Bethany, come settle a debate for us. I walked back to the group, wine glass in hand, already bracing myself. We were just discussing career trajectories. Tamara said, her smile predatory. And I was telling everyone how you've really found your calling. I mean, not everyone can handle the intellectual demands of, what do you call it, subsistence farming. The group laughed right on cue. Though I have to ask, she continued, stepping closer. Don't you ever wonder what you could have accomplished if you'd applied yourself? I mean, really applied yourself instead of settling for this quaint little life. The words hit like physical blows. Every insecurity I'd ever had about my choices, every moment of doubt, all wrapped up in my sister's perfectly manicured cruelty. I opened my mouth to respond, but Tamara wasn't finished. I'm just saying, some of us dream bigger than vegetable gardens and county fairs. Real life happens on Wall Street, not in whatever little bubble you've created for yourself. The silence that followed was deafening. Even the people who'd been laughing looked uncomfortable now. I set down my wine glass with a steady hand. You're right, I said quietly. Real life does happen, and sometimes it happens in ways you never expect. 6 months after the barbecue from hell, I noticed the cracks starting to show. It started with missed phone calls. My parents, who used to check in weekly with updates about Tamara's latest achievements, suddenly went radio silent. When I did catch them, the conversations felt strained, like they were reading from a script with half the pages missing. How's Tamara doing? I asked during one particularly awkward call with my mother. Oh, you know Tamara. Always busy. Always working on something big. The pause that followed stretched long enough to drive a truck through. And, Elijah. Oh, he's fine. Listen, honey, I have to run. Your father's calling me. Click. I stared at the phone frowning. In 30 years my mother ever cut a conversation short unless someone was literally bleeding. The next red flag came at Erin's birthday dinner. We met at a small Italian place downtown. Nothing fancy, which should have been my first clue. The Blair family didn't do. Nothing fancy. Where's everyone else? I asked as Erin slid into the booth across from me and Peyton. Mom and Dad had something come up. Tamara and Elijah are dealing with work stuff. Work stuff on a Saturday night. Erin picked at her breadstick, avoiding my eyes. Things have been complicated lately. What kinda complicated? I probably shouldn't. Aaron. I leaned forward. What's going on? She glanced around the restaurant like she was checking for spies, then lowered her voice. Elijah's company is in trouble. Big trouble. Some kind of investment scheme that went sideways.